Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing great. Okay, so I'm going to be focusing on a current event. So the current event is Tucker Carlson. When I found out that he's no longer on Fox, I didn't even know what to make of it. However, I couldn't help but not be surprised that that would be something happening in today's society. And so those of us who know Tucker Carlson, I think pretty much 95% of the population probably knows Tucker Carlson somehow, some way. But he speaks from his own heart. He's an intelligent guy. He has his perspective on society. You can agree with him, disagree with him. I like his genuineness. I like his intelligence. I like the way he communicates. I like his laugh. I think he's fantastic. And I'm actually excited for him to have some new opportunities outside of Fox. I'm not sure where that's going to go, but I'm curious to see where he takes his life, and I'm rooting for him. Okay, so anybody who has found a way to have a public voice and to make that public voice heard and to be valued and appreciated, because you can't hear him and not at least give him room and give him credit for taking ownership of his own stance on things and his own way of speaking about it. And I value that about him. Anyway, so I'm an energy healer. I'm going to listen to the sounds of the universe here. And I want to listen in and I want to learn something from this. I want to learn something from this event. It's kind of cool to say, Tucker Carlson, you're an event. Like, you not being on Fox News, you're an event. So wow, to have reached a level as a human being to be considered an event when you lose your job, wow, that's really cool. And so I want to learn something from this. I want to see what the universe has to say about, whether it's directly about Tucker Carlson, about Tucker's path, about what we can learn from this, about society in general. I think it's going to be interesting. So I like looking at current events. I'm curious to see the way the world is turning and what the outcome of that is going to be. Doesn't make me necessarily comfortable inside, but I'm a part of this. I'm a part of this. So all I can do is work with the flow of things as they come and share my own gifts and talents and my own way of communicating and just hopefully enrich your life, right? Okay, so I'm going to relax. I'm getting in the zone here. And we're just going to see what we can learn today about this Tucker Carlson event, okay? What is it telling us? What is it teaching us? Anything that could come forward on this. Okay. Okay. The first image is like this. And I will say that I feel like the air is being pulled out of my lungs. It is being removed from my body. The air is. And so even for me to talk right now, it's kind of hard because I actually feel the presence of not having air in my body. And what's weird about this scene, I experienced myself as Tucker Carlson. The air is being removed from my body, and then it makes it hard to speak. Now the scene shows me a heart-shaped balloon, okay? And the heart-shaped balloon it doesn't have the helium like it once did. And so it's kind of bouncing into a wall. It's trying to move and it's trying to go somewhere. It's just bouncing into a wall. It's a heart-shaped balloon. And this heart-shaped balloon represents time. It's like this was purchased, I don't know, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. This heart-shaped balloon, and of course it's going to not be the same. The helium is dying out. It just doesn't float like it once did. I think we need to let go of the heart-shaped balloon. I think it's okay to say that it was useful, it served its purpose, time to let the balloon go, It's like trying to hold on to birthday balloons for years and years and years. It just doesn't make sense. Sometimes you just got to say, yep, time to let the balloon go. Time to let it go. But this is a conflict because when I see the heart-shaped balloon and that balloon is still trying to fly, like it's still trying to exist as it is familiar with, its early years has existed, okay? Then there's this sense of Tucker Carlson is all out of breath. But there's this paralleled connection between these two, this heart-shaped balloon and then Tucker out of breath, okay? So I, Abbey, am not convinced that Tucker, this is the end by any means. I feel like he can strive to have his own voice and his own place and his own movement in the world and do it himself. And I think he'll be great at it. And so when I see this and I feel the energy about this, it just feels like it's hard. It's hard to maneuver, and it's hard to manage, and it's hard to do anything right now. It's just hard to do anything right now. Why does this balloon keep mocking me? It's like it's constantly thrown in my face. It's constantly showing me itself. And I kind of done with it. I'm kind of done with it, but I can't do anything about it. And so I, Abbey, am both a participant and an observer of this scene. And so I, Abbey, feel annoyed. I, Abbey, can't remove the balloon. But I also experience Tucker is out of breath and can't really move because he's out of breath. And so there's this weird conflict that we can't really do anything about right now. It can't do anything about it right now. Okay. I gotta decide what is the path that I'm on here as far as acquiring information. So the next scene is like this. There are these, I don't know, they're like old dead trees that have flesh, and then they use their dead branches and sort of reach out, and they're kind of the goon squad, but they're like old dead trees that are still somehow animated and have flesh. And then anyway, they kind of, one of them reaches this scraggly branch arm out and grabs him by the ankle and yanks, and then pulls him into this kind of creepy sort of dead forest goon gang. And they're just kind of surrounding him. There's like 6 different people surrounding him, and he's just on the ground, trying to get air. Nothing's happening right now. Everything vibrationally is timed out. So there's nothing to see. There's nothing to know. There's nothing to say. Nothing. Vibrationally nothing. Okay? That's the next thing is there's nothing here. Okay? Nothing here. But I can't stop looking at that stinking heart-shaped balloon. I can't stop looking at it. So it's the one thing that's always in me, in my eyesight, in my mind. It's always there. This balloon is always there. I don't know why this balloon makes me think of the 80s. I don't know why the 80s come to me. But I can't stop thinking about the 80s when I look at this balloon. And suddenly, as soon as I say that, I'm hugging this balloon. I'm holding it close to myself. This balloon never turns into a person. And I feel like this balloon could turn into a person, and it just doesn't. This is why it's mocking. It's not wanting to give up on love and not wanting love to die. We don't want to pop that balloon because we don't want love to die, and we don't want to give up on love. And there's so many different kinds of love. I feel like this is where Tucker's heart comes into play, because Tucker's heart is passionate. And Tucker's heart can't give up on living and can't give up on finding the helium one way or another, finding a way to keep going. And maybe it was a fresh balloon in the 80s, and it's not dead yet. This balloon is not dead yet. And something about this message is important, that we all think about what love is. Is love finding your soulmate? Sure, you know, love is that. Love is sharing your life with somebody, and it's for the long haul. With all its ups and downs, it's all its calamities, and having to go through the drought seasons and the winters and the springs and the summers. Like, it's the long haul of a relationship. It's not just the fantasy of relationship. And so love is the long haul, but love is more than just a relationship. It's life. It's life. It's the preciousness of life. It's the preciousness of life. It's even the air that we are given to breathe. It's even the space we are given to learn and to grow. It's the opportunity we're giving to discover who we are as individual people. Is love. And we need to continue to put the helium back into love. Like, let these balloons fly. Like, let's see the balloons. Like, let this love isn't dead yet. This love is not dead yet. So as I speak about this, I'm speaking this to the goons. And Tucker is just on the ground, and he just doesn't have air inside of his lungs right now. It's like cutting off his lungs, his breath, his voice. It's just cutting that off right now. And so I tell the goons this message about love, and I give them all CPR because they're all dead. They're basically dead goons that are trying to dictate what love is going to look like now and in the future. It's just the movement of corruption. You know what I mean? It's just the movement of corruption that wants to pop the balloons and take out the voice of love. It wants to make it go away, make it stop, because it's dead. They died a long time ago. And that death is trying to infiltrate our lives. It's trying to infiltrate our bodies and our minds. It's trying to infiltrate us so that we can, I don't know, aspire to being the almighty dream come true of a life cycle of death. You know? So I keep speaking this message of love, and the balloon reminds us of this. It's not mocking us. It's like, I've heard it many times, people want to find their soulmate, and to look at their life and to endure the loneliness without a soulmate, it's like it mocks them. It's painful. It's unfathomably painful. Now imagine the soulmate is society. It's falling in love with your community. It's falling in love with the people that you build that community with. Like love is more than just a relationship with one person. It's so much more than that. It's just, this is so important, this message is. I don't even feel like I'm doing it justice. It just keeps like pouring out of my own heart. Like, love is so important. 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 Love, 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 love is so important. It just like keeps saying it over and 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 over again. I can't give up on it. So it's not mocking us. It's actually the one thing that we know so well in our hearts. It's the one thing that we grow with. It's the one thing that makes everything worth living for, right? Love is. It's motivation. It's passion. It's I want to get out of bed in the morning. Love is everything. Love is the well-being of each other. Love is the enrichment of self-discovery and even academic discovery, you know? So you can have a study. You can learn how to play the violin or learn how to build a car. It could be an incredible learning. That's love too. These goons are so long dead. I don't know what's animating them. They're just dead trees that have flesh and somehow are animated. I'm changing the sound vibration to give Tucker a breathing room. I actually put him in an orb, and I move his whole energy field. I just move everything that is his sound, and I move it to a peaceful place where he can breathe. But he says, no, stop it. I don't need the peaceful place. I need this right now. And I smile and I say, okay. And I say, then get up. Stop freaking laying there acting like you can't breathe. Get up. And I smile and I just like put him back, and I'm going to watch him, see what he does. I'm watching. See what you do. We're all watching, Tucker. We're going to see what you do next. It's really cool, actually. I'm proud of him. Like, I just want to say that it's inspiring. And you have no idea what to do. I mean, I see that you, Tucker, you stand up and you're trying to make sense of what you're looking at is really what you're doing. And I tell you, I have time to do that. But what's interesting is, where's the insecurity at? Because you're not insecure. So the need to drag you into the situation, that insecurity had to drag you into the situation, but everything is happening for all the right reasons, not all the wrong reasons, all the right reasons. It's just you being a real human being who cares about a voice of love. That's what makes them the most vulnerable. I see that there's kind of an intermission and not much is happening. I just see Tucker looking at the faces of these strange tree people, and they're kind of just looking at Tucker's face, and there's just really nothing happening here. It's just, there's no words. There's no, There's no conversation. There's no explanation. There's no, it's kind of, it doesn't represent being awkward though. Awkward would be like you expect an exchange, you expect them to say something, or maybe you feel like you should say something, but nobody is saying anything. And it's not awkward for some reason. It represents almost like everybody's trying to make sense of the decision making. Now, even the trees are trying to make sense of themselves right now. And I tell the trees to get a good look into the mirror. It's because Tucker just represents a mirror that they're conflicted with inside themselves. That's it. They're just conflicted with what Tucker represents. They're conflicted with that inside themselves. That's true for every situation. Whether it's Tucker Carlson or anybody in any situation, that insecurity, if you represent some kind of solid stance, that insecurity wants to make you go away, because you're actually the aspect of the mirror that the insecurity is struggling to work through, struggling to grow. So if it could break you down, then it could tolerate you. Okay, so then if it can tolerate you, then you could be friends or whatever. But this insecurity has to grow. It has to grow. So that's why I'm talking about the mirror right now. So my guides are saying, so it was insecurity is the reason why then Tucker was removed from Fox. I want to actually feel that out, my own answer to that for a moment, because I could immediately say yes. I mean, that is what's presented here, but I actually want to feel this out for a minute. What is the reason why this whole Fox thing happened? What is the real reason? Is it all about insecurity? The willpower, the desire, the desperate need to control the media, that is an insecurity. And so why would there be a movement of people? Why would there be a movement of dead old trees that are totally vulnerable to people having their own personality? Desperately need to see a conformity, like people, here's your script and you say what we tell you to say. And so it's all controlled, it's all under control, you know? That is the biggest insecurity. The biggest insecurity would need to control everything. It needs to control everything. And so what this is telling me collectively, even, that collectively, this insecurity is making movements here, is making decisions. The insecurity is making decisions. Where does the insecurity exist? It exists at the top and the bottom of society. It exists everywhere in society. Insecurity exists even in the strongest of people. It's just, even in the strongest of people, are you giving into the insecurity? Are you willing to admit you have it and that you're not going to give into it? Or you're going to try to overcome it this time? Or you're going to grow beyond it? Or you want to be the best person you can be because you care about the well-being of others. And you care about the well-being of others, and you care about the well-being of yourself, and working on this insecurity makes it a better world. Whereas there's people that they can't even acknowledge what they are, and they don't even know what animates that, other than the motivation to control, and never acknowledge that it was insecurity that was animating that body in the first place, which is basically death. Where does insecurity exist if it doesn't exist in the illusion or in the fear, right? It's a fear of facing your true self in the mirror. Because a strong person is admirable. And you're looking at an angel when you look at a strong person. So you could say, on a level, Tucker Carlson is an angel for humanity, right? He's a strong person. He's worthy and deserving of the place he has reached. And we should all applaud him for that. It's really hard to be a human being that can reach that type of level. And we need to applaud him for that. He's an angel. But all of the demons are the ones hiding, and the goons that are wearing the tree bodies that are animated, that you're never going to know who they are exactly, and you might know who some of them are. But then they want you to look at people like Tucker and then see the worst in Tucker. They see the worst in this person or that person, whoever they specifically pull out, and then throw that in your face and then do whatever they can to break down that image, right? But they're the insecure ones. They're working with the death cycle. That's all this is. So I don't know if I've articulated this well enough, but if insecurity is motivated to make decisions, what are the angels motivated to do? What are the angels? And angels exist at every level of society. From the bottom to the top, from the top to the bottom, there are angels, okay? And so what are the angels inspired to do? you just simply have to ask yourself, what are you inspired to do today as an angel of society? You know, what are you inspired to do today? And it's just, I feel inspired to make this video, and I care, and I want to talk about it, and I want to see what's going on behind the scenes of it, and I want to share what I see and let you guys think about it. And then that's what I want to do. I just want to add or contribute something interesting to society, something I'm interested in that other people might be interested in too. So that's what I'm going to do, okay? You know, there's been other messages this week about remembering that you're a mature adult. And remembering that being a mature adult is sometimes a representation of tough love. It's doing the right thing in difficult times. It's having to be a role model. It's having to do the honest thing. It's having to say no when no is necessary. It's the whole idea of I don't know, like a child running around the house banging on a pot and pan, and you just choose to ignore it. But the child's like screaming for attention, which it needs to be put in the corner or something. Some conversation needs to be had here. We have to be mature adults. We have to handle these situations. We don't let these situations just get out of control. We got to handle these situations. And so there has to be an acclamation to the strength of the mature adult, the responsible adult. Do the right thing. Be a role model. Be a representation of something good in this world, okay? So that's the next part of this whole message, okay? And so when insecurity moves, and insecurity tries to break down the angel, so the angel then can be the insecurity, and then we can all be friends with insecurity and just continue to break down until there's nothing left but death, okay? No, there always has to be strength that stands up against the adversary, okay? But the adversary is quite weak. But in a society, for instance, where money is the strength, right? So that the weak adversary can have a crap ton of money, and then that makes them strong. It's not about their character. It's about how much they have in the bank, you know? So that's what creates real strength in society, you know? And then but that doesn't matter, because a true angel understands that they just simply have to keep standing their ground no matter what. They have to represent something of strength and caliber and moral, the moral right thing to do, right? So this is kind of this empowering message. This empowering reminder, this empowering message about angelic energy. Hold on a second. I'm kind of getting pulled back into this, and I feel like we're going to come full circle on this whole thing here. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so we're still at the intermission where there's just Tucker's kind of looking at these goons and nobody's saying anything. But I do see him standing on his feet. I see him really thinking about his life and who he is and his voice and what he wants to do. It's actually a good kind of reach the plateau of the next phase, to be honest. Climb the cliffside, and reaching the plateau of the next phase oftentimes can start with a catastrophe first. And then that catastrophe is the reset button. So then Tucker just discovers the next steps in his life and where he wants to go next. And it can take however long it wants to take. Same for anybody. Like if you've recently had a big calamity that's totally shook everything up in your life, it could be a sign that you've reached the plateau of the next phase of your life. And so it starts out as a total mess, a total disaster, but we're rebuilding from the rubble, you know? And maybe that's what's going to happen in society too, like in the United States and Canada. Maybe it just has to have a total ultimate meltdown of despair and destruction. And then from that, we rebuild from the rubble, because it seems to want to go in that direction. You know, it seems to want to be completely and utterly destroyed. And everything does have a life and death cycle. And so maybe this is a death moment, but it's going to be also then a rebirth moment, because there's never any true death. You know, there's only like the end and the beginning at the same time. Okay. So, I just kind of vibrationally just clear the air of these goons, because there's really nothing else to say. I don't know why we need to keep looking at them. I think it's okay to just, I don't know, take a look at yourself in the mirror, Tucker, and give yourself a pat on the back. Like, a lot of us really appreciate you. And you're going to find the next step. No matter what happens, you'll find it. My guides asked me one more question. So what happens to the goons in the end? What happens to the insecurity? So make Tucker disappear. Makes me feel kind of strange to do that. But I'm only doing that to just give him his own space, but I'm going to go into the space of the goons. It's almost like they'll never stop plotting and planning ways to protect themselves from growing. I don't know what to make of it. It's like a society of gross people. And they're all working together. They're like the living dead. It's like a society of the living dead, and they're all working together to just continue to prolong their living dead life and prolong their importance and prolong their control and prolong their power. They're just the living dead people. But I see that they're already buried. They're already in their own graves. They're just living in the illusion that they still have life and they still have power and importance. But they're actually just souls lost in purgatory. And don't let whatever animates those goons take away your strength and your power and your security in yourself. It might challenge the security that you have, but they can't take it away from you. You're really looking at the living dead people. And so don't set them at like some kind of pedestal above yourself, because they're actually in the ground. They're already buried, long dead. Vibrationally, that's what it says about them. And so that's what I'm supposed to say about that. I mean, there's a lot of other angles I could take on that conversation, but that's how I'm supposed to kind of present it. That's what comes to me about it. All right. Hope you guys found this interesting. I just want to do something a little outside of the box, looking at current events, and something that I was really surprised to hear, but something I was really intrigued by, and something I was kind of excited about, because I'm excited to see Tucker have maybe his own show or do it in his own way. And I feel like he's going to be able to do that. I feel like he'll be successful at that. Then my heart is definitely like sending that vibe out into the universe. And I think a lot of people's hearts are. So the heart still has helium. Even after all these decades, the love is still there. We can't get rid of it. Even when it mocks us, we can't get rid of it. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. And just a reminder, hey, I do energy work, individual sessions. If you need me to take a look at anything going on in your life, please don't be shy. You can book a session at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. Thanks for sticking around, guys. Thanks for exploring this with me. Share your thoughts in the comments. Have a very awesome day.